prestigious Raisina dialogue got underway in the national capital on Tuesday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the inaugural session where External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said Indian foreign policy seeks to focus on key challenges, broad engagement with many parties and managing, if not leveraging, various conflicts in global context.
The fifth edition of the prestigious Raisina Dialogue, jointly organized by the Ministry of External Affairs and the Observer Research Foundation, started in the capital New Delhi on Tuesday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also attended the event and listened carefully to the views of the former heads of 7 countries. It is one of the largest conferences of its kind. Former ministers of 12 countries and representatives of the European Union are attending this 3-day conference. Addressing the program, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said that the Raisina dialogue mainly has 3 characteristics that bring together all stakeholders along with the exchange of ideas.
The Raisina dialogue has 3 characteristics. 1, while focused on change, disruptions and rebalancing underway in the world, it covers a very broad spectrum of subjects and debates. Most important, it is truly contemporary. 2, its participants are equally diverse. They range from policymakers and executors to thinkers and activists. The diversity addresses all yardsticks, whether of geography, demography, ideology, gender or interest. 3, this platform brings together representatives and individuals who you may not commonly find at the same location at the same time. The exchange of perspectives that this allows could possibly grow into something more with the passage of time.
On the first day, former Prime Minister of Canada Stephen Harper, former Prime Minister of Bhutan Shering Tobgay, former President of Afghanistan Hamid Karzai, former Prime Minister of Denmark and former President of South Korea addressed and spoke to the 7 heads of state.
That Afghanistan is perhaps closer to India in lots of ways, and it's the right place for me to thank Honorable Prime Minister of India for all the support given to the Afghan people and for continuing to hold us in very close, dear terms.
The developed world must step forward. We need champions. When you talk of climate change, it is this is a tragedy of commons in a truly global scale. And to solve such a problem, you need global champions. And champions must come from all countries, India included, but especially the developed world.
The 30 think tanks of the world will also present their views in different sessions of this 3-day conference. During the program, the world will present its views on the challenges related to globalization, the agenda of 2030, the role of technology in the modern world, climate change and counter-terrorism. With Abhishek Jha and Ramesh Ramachandran, DD India.
Taking part in the Raisina dialogue, former NATO Secretary-General Andres Rasmussen said he would like to see a global alliance of democracies to stand up to oppressive rulers and regimes, and India could play a vital role in such a coalition.
We have spoken about hard security here. I think soft security is as important. And in that respect, I would like to see the development of a global alliance of democracies to raise their voice against the advancing autocracies. And in that respect, I would like to see India as a very strong component of such a global alliance of democracies. And I appreciate very much the leadership of Prime Minister Modi in that respect. And I hope we could engage India much more internationally in the coming years.
Former South Korean Prime Minister appreciated India's leadership.
We are actually going through a very difficult time. At this very difficult time, the role of leaders are very important. In that respect, and all leaders, particularly Prime Minister Modi's role is very important in reversing the current trend that make our life difficult in the future.
Former Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper lauded Prime Minister Modi for bringing in reforms that will benefit people in the long term. He said that India will be a country that is self-defined.
increasingly diverse and multipolar world will be that there aren't simple answers to that. But a big part of the answer in the future will be a role played by India. And if I can pay tribute to Prime Minister Modi here, I think it will be the kind of India that Prime Minister Modi's vision is creating. That's, I'm not just talking about obviously energetic domestic reforms, but very much a country that's self-defined, aspires to be a cooperative global partner, but will be very much Indian. India is not going to be a Western, it's not going to be a bastion of Western liberalism, although it's a democracy. India was never going to be just another non-aligned post-colonial state. India has its own identity, own nationalism, for lack of a better term. And I think to the extent that under the current government, that identity is coming to the fore with big power, but I think globalist aspirations, I think is going to be a big part of the solution, and certainly a big part of the solution for those like Anders and myself, who care deeply about the future of democratic society as opposed to the alternatives that we face in the world of the future.
Former Swedish Prime Minister Carl Bildt hailed India's economic and social growth.
India plays a rather crucial role. That has been said in other contexts before, but I would say it's even more important in this particular one. I mean, you've been doing great lately, I think. I've been impressed by sort of the way in which you digitalize society and economy and affordability and availability and all of these things. That's great. And particularly the fact that you will remain, or even more remain, the world's greatest